60. Showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm, 51 tonight. Chance of showers tomorrow, possibly an afternoon thunderstorm, 61. Sunday, patchy morning fog, then sunny, high 67. Staff meteorologist John Weatherby, Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Rainy, 57 degrees in the valley. Dow's down 85 points at 17,332. S&P 500 down 7 at 2015. NASDAQ off 6 at 4678. Reporting for Money Radio, I'm Dawn Nietzsche.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We're a weekly show found right here on Money Radio, 1510 AM, 99.3 FM, coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. And it's hard to believe. Here it is. It's January 30th, and we're almost through the first month of the year, 2015. And boy, do we have a lot going on here in Phoenix. We're in the middle of the Phoenix Open. The weather's been just like it should be here in Arizona. Very nice, and certainly a lot nicer than it is back east with the blizzard that they got this week. And we also have the Super Bowl coming up. Exciting times for us Phoenicians and us Arizonans. We got a lot of visitors here, and I'm seeing a lot of traffic out there. And as you guys know, this show is about our aging adult population and how to live a successful, happy life. And in the case of what I talk about weekly, and that is how to live a healthier, happier life at home. And that's what we do at Cypress Home Care. I've got a couple guests here on today that do just that as well. And they help our aging adult population successfully age in place at home. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guests. They are a couple. They're married, but they're in the business together, and they really, really work well together. So they're kind of like Batman and Robin, the Green Hornet and Kato, and you can go on from there in terms of analogies. But I want to introduce to our listening audience Sanford, he goes by Sandy, and Deena Goldstein. And they were with a company called Measurabilities, and they also have another company called Measurabilities Home Safety. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hello, Bob. Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys here. And what you guys do is so important. And really, I want to just cut to the chase. What you guys do is you help our aging adult population from falling. And I say this all the time to my clients, is that we want you vertical, not horizontal. And Sandy, you are a physical therapist.
That's correct.
And you've been trained in this area. And Deena, you've got a lot of background, but marketing is one of yours.
Right.
And you get out there and help tell the story about how we can keep our aging adult population safe.
Right. And try to get out there and educate people.
So tell me a little bit about Measurabilities and what do you guys do?
Well, we're a physical rehab, physical therapy company that specializes in fall prevention. So we really have a 3-step process that we use to address fall prevention, which involves, number one, screening of individuals to try to pick up on whether they're even at risk of falling in the first place. And then the second part is we go and do comprehensive home safety modification assessments and try to identify through going through 8 to 10 different points what types of interventions an individual would benefit from to help prevent them from falling.
So basically you do a thorough assessment. You really gauge that person's ability how should I say, to be out there to not fall. Lack of a better word.
Yes.
I'm a loss of words here, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I have the same loss for words, but yes, exactly. What I've found through researching fall prevention is there's a number of modifiable risk factors that we try to address through our assessment. So whether it be balance, lower extremity strength, home environmental risk factors that put people at risk of falling, whether there's cognition issues, medication, cross complications, whether there's footwear or feet problems, visual acuity. Through our comprehensive assessment, we try to focus in on where the risk is and then focus our intervention specifically to what the needs are.
The word I was looking for was ambulate.
Ambulate, yes, yes.
So, that's one of the things that you certainly probably do when you first sit down with somebody or actually have them stand up, is to watch them ambulate and to see how they can get around their own home and the confines of their home.
Sure.
And see where some of those weaknesses are.
Sure, absolutely.
And certainly when you see those weaknesses, I know this about physical therapy, you work on strengthening them. And strengthening them, maybe you might not be able to strengthen a knee or a hip per se, but you can strengthen the muscles and the areas around that to make them strong.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And really it's never too late to get strong. So if individuals aren't addressing their strength, or if they're feeling weak, or if they've, for whatever reason, they've been hospitalized or debilitated for a while, if they are weak, then they could definitely benefit from strengthening.
Well, I can tell you personally, my experience with physical therapy is it's a rather detailed history, because I used to be a athlete and weekend warrior, and I sustained a lot of injuries over the years, and I will tell you, as difficult as some of those injuries were, physical therapy in a lot of cases was almost as difficult too. But it is important, because I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do today if I didn't put the time in to strengthening those areas that needed to be strengthened.
That's good to hear.
Well, listen, one of the things that, we deal with, obviously, is our aging adult population, and you see all kinds of people. And you see people, whether they're post-surgery, whether they're, post-diagnosis. Your company and the work that you guys do as physical therapists is so important to keeping those people alive and keeping them as independent as they so want to be. And, I know that you get out there and you do this, and, you go into people's homes. You go into some facilities as well, and what you guys do is incredible.
Thank you very much.
And
we enjoy it, too. We enjoy helping and doing the work.
A lot of people get this benefit through Medicare, and they can qualify for it through Medicare. Can you walk me through the process about, how do we get our health plans paying for this? How do we get Medicare to pay for it? Or is this something that is strictly out of pocket? Or a combination of both?
Well, so ironically, in our healthcare system right now, prevention is not always covered by insurance, and certainly fall prevention is very important. So, Sandy can address the physical therapy aspects of that. The home safety modifications that we provide, they are out of pocket, but everybody's needs are different. So where some people might need bars and physical therapy intervention, somebody else might need a bar. So it's a nominal fee for lasting effects of your safety in your home and your quality of life too.
It's interesting, because we did move from the physical therapy to the home safety, and I'm glad we did, because it's really important for our listening audience to know this. As you said, it's a nominal fee compared to what it could cost you.
Right.
And the nice thing about measurabilities in your home safety company is that not only do you have the equipment, but you have installers too. And that's always been a challenge for people. It's like, I need grab bars for my bathroom, or I need grab bars for my shower. all right, you go get the grab bars. How do I get them in?
Right.
Right, exactly.
So you complete that entire process.
I mean, and the difference is what you're paying for is not just a bar. You're paying for an expert to come in. Our physical therapist, Sandy, will come in and address individual needs based on their ergonomics, whatever their health status is, and whatever his particular recommendations are based on the environment. So,
no, that's outstanding. And that way you have the best of both worlds. You've got somebody that has recommended it, and then you've got the company coming in behind it, making sure it is being installed to the specifications of the physical therapist.
Right. I mean, a bar put in improperly or at the wrong height is as much fall risk as not having a bar. So that's important.
Or how about those bars that have suction cups?
Yeah, not good.
Oh.
Not good. They don't hold our shampoo up in the shower. They definitely won't hold your body weight.
Yeah, so our listening audience, if you have gone and gotten one with a suction cup, or you intend to go get one with a suction cup, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, it's hard to believe we're already down our first segment, and we've got 3 more to go. We're having fun here. We are here with the Goldsteins from Measurabilities and Measurabilities Home Safety. We have to take a break. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you.
If you're listening to Money Radio, you are a success. You're doing the right things financially. But don't forget about your personal life or your love life. If erectile dysfunction or low testosterone is affecting you like a poorly performing stock, shape up your love life portfolio with Summit Male Medical Center. Call 480-398-1000 or go to summitmalemedical.com. I know there are no guarantees with investments, so you're not going to be used to this, but we guarantee to help you. And if we can't, we won't charge you. You don't have to be Warren Buffett to know that that's a great deal. We're successful 98% of the time anybody walks through our door, regardless of their age or medical conditions. Now that's an A1 quality rating. Passing up on this is like passing up on the initial offering of Google stock. So don't wait or hesitate. Call now, 480-398-1000 or go to summitmalemedical.com.
Hello, I'm Jim Gentrup, Principal Partner with Valvista Capital Management. At Valvista, we focus on small company stocks. We offer our clients over 25 years of research and portfolio management experience. Our clients, many of whom are high net worth investors and lead busy lives, entrust Valvista Capital Management to create additional wealth through small company stocks. In addition, the principals at Valvista Capital Management, unlike many money managers, have a significant portion of their assets invested alongside our clients. You should invest too, so call today at 480-646-4537. Our goal is to create long-term value and a trust-based relationship with our clients. Learn today how you can successfully invest in small company stocks with reduced volatility by calling Valvista Capital Management. The number again to call is 480-646-4537. That's 480-646-4537. You can also learn more at www.valvistacm.com. That's www.valvistacm.com.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And we are beginning our second segment. If you missed our first segment, we're here with the Goldsteins, and they're from Measurabilities and Measurabilities Home Safety. If you missed it, you can catch it on our website at cypresshomecare.com. If you scroll down halfway, you'll see a radio microphone button. Click on it, and you'll be able to catch that first segment and these next 3, as well as about 50 others that we've done since the beginning of last year. So we were talking about these grab bars, and we were talking about the suction ones.
Right.
Bad idea.
Bad.
Don't
Very
do that.
bad idea.
You know, I want to just jump in and ask you guys about how did you get in this business? You seem like really nice folks from Ohio, and I wanted to know how you got in this business. So let's hear it.
Sure. Well, Bob, a couple years ago, Deena's father, my father-in-law, was in the hospital for a period of time. He had some procedures done, and when he was discharged from the hospital, he was at home, and I told Deena and I went over there to visit him, and of course we found him on the couch, and he was frail and in a weakened state. It was pretty obvious, and I said, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, there was a walker parked next to him
with the tags still on it."
Yep, it still had the tags on it. And I said, "Oh," I said, "you have a walker." I said, "When you were discharged, did they measure you and make sure that the walker is fit to you?" And he said, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, did they teach you how to use it?" And he said, I guess so." So
were you already a physical therapist?
Oh yeah, I've been
Okay.
I've been a physical therapist since 1996.
Okay.
So in practice. So I said, "Dad," I said, "go ahead, get up and show me. Let's take a look at the walker and see how it fits, and show me how to use it." So he stood up from this deep couch. He picked the walker up in the air. While he was holding it in the air, he turned around, placed it down, which if anybody that knows about walkers knows that's dangerous in and of itself. He placed it down on the floor and proceeded to walk with it. Within a week after being discharged from the hospital, he fell 3 times.
Wow.
And so, sorry.
And in retelling the story,
There we go.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I said to Deena after that happened, I said, "This is ridiculous." I said, there's absolutely no accountability for people that are being discharged from the hospital. The follow-up and there's too many cracks, too many weaknesses in the system. There's not follow-through in order to make sure that people are kept safe once they're home. And so I told her that day, this was about a year and a half ago, I told her that we need to do something about this. And so the goal was to create an assessment and intervention strategy that covered all the points from one provider. So a one-stop shop, if you will, that would provide the assessments, provide the interventions, and make sure that the interventions were followed through on from soup to nuts. And so that's what we did.
It's interesting because not only does that happen in a case like what you're dealing with and somebody needing some assisted devices,
right?
But also just, in terms of what the orders are when they get discharged, how people are, discharged with orders that are conflicting with what they're dealing with right now in terms of what their health issues are, or they're given sketchy orders or no orders at all.
Exactly.
And we all know with the Affordable Care Act, these hospitals are being measured for readmissions. And if we can, as providers like Cypress Home Care Solutions and Measurabilities, if we can help people have good outcomes when they get discharged and get home to a safe place with care being either there by family members or brought in through home care agencies, employer-based home care agencies like Cypress,
right,
we can keep those readmissions from happening.
Right.
But that was how many years ago?
This it's a year and a half ago. Okay,
because that stuff is still going on today.
Oh, exactly.
And you would think that, and I'm not here to pick on case management in hospitals, because you know what, those guys have their hands full, especially this time of year. They're trying to get people out the door so that they can get more people in, because those ERs and those urgent centers are just filling up big time. So we need companies like Measurabilities to help us get people to age successfully in place, as well as be able to be discharged safely to their home.
Right, safely.
3 falls, wow.
Yep.
Well, 2 of them, what's interesting is we knew about 2, and in recounting the story to him, as we talked about what we were about to do, we found out there was a 3rd fall, which we didn't even know about. So,
how's your dad doing today?
Thank you. He's doing fantastic. So we're thrilled that he no longer uses an assistive device, and he'd always been a horseback rider, so he was a strapping guy. So he's back to doing fantastic. So we feel very lucky. And Sandy, during the time that he had the walker, was able to teach him how to use it appropriately, so that he wasn't at risk for falls.
Fantastic. He's back in Columbus?
No, he's actually here.
He lives here?
He does, yeah.
Okay.
Just a stone's throw away.
Well, nice.
Yeah.
That way you guys can keep an eye on
That's
him.
the way we like it, yeah.
And it's nice to have family. It really is nice to have family. And I say this often, because of the advent of technology and the advent of travel, so many of the nuclear family has dissipated. And realizing that you grew up not here but in Ohio, it's nice to know that he followed you over to here. Or you followed him.
We actually
We
followed
followed
him.
them.
We
You followed him.
them, yeah. Well, I always say, everyone cuts the cord. I just got an extension cord, so we're okay with that. And, but, part of being close to family is having the ability to intervene, and not everybody has that option. So somebody who has a caregiver from Cyprus, the caregiver might recognize that somebody's a fall risk, call us, and we can come in, and Sandy can address whatever concerns that, they notice. So it's important to communicate and open dialogue about it if you have the ability to do that.
So you and I just made a referral to you talking about families, family way up in North Scottsdale. This gentleman, got a really bad diagnosis and is dealing with instability. I think I would put it. Maybe what's the professional word in terms of him, having the ability to fall. So maybe it's instability. He's, his because of this diagnosis, his gait is going to be a little more shaky, and he's going to have more instances of falling. And this family, which I absolutely love, is the fact that they all came together. They had lost their mother 3 or 4 months earlier. They had their dad, who was in his 90s, and they all came together, and they're like, we want to make this place safe. We want to make Dad's last days, weeks, or months desirable, and we want him to age successfully in place. And I told him, after picking up 10 throw rugs, after moving 4 tables, and there was a 5th table that I think we ended up putting in a closet, I said, you need to call measurabilities. I'm not an expert at this, but I think I just decreased the odds about 80% of your dad having a fall or tripping on the carpet or catching one of these tables and hitting his head on it. But you need to call them, and I know you guys were just recently out there, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Well, and the other part of that, the environmental aspects are very important, and then ADL. So that could be a showering, bathing, how he navigates the bathroom. Is it slippery? Does, things to grab onto. A lot of times people will grab onto a towel bar, but a towel bar by nature is not a grab bar. There are grab bars that we have that are towel bars. But those are things
that actually happened with this gentleman. Mm-hmm. That actually happened.
With the gentleman that I
Yep.
said, oh, yeah. I would imagine that.
He pulled it right off the wall, towel bar.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah. So dangerous.
Yeah. So those are the things that we look at. And, him navigating from his bedroom to the restroom, is that something we need to address? Should he, making sure it's well lit? There's a lot of factors involved that you can address at home. There's factors that we can help you address based on Sandy coming out and making the recommendations.
And you mentioned well lit, and that is so important. Lighting, especially, the fact that our aging adult population gets up in the middle of the night because they got to use the bathroom.
Right.
You got to be able to light that way. And they, this is why I advocate staying at home. They know how to navigate around a house.
Right.
They could close their eyes and know where everything is. But if their legs aren't strong enough, or if they're having back issues or other physical issues, they're going to go down. And they need to have the proper assisted devices. And we can talk a little bit more about assistive devices on the next segment.
Okay.
It's hard to believe we're down 2. We having fun yet?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I want to find out who you guys like in the Super Bowl. So you already know you guys liked Ohio State. So
I'm rooting for the Pats.
Rooting for the Pats?
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well,
anybody but Seattle.
Well, we got to take a break here. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We'll be right back.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says it's too early to know what his investigation into Deflategate will turn up. At his Super Bowl news conference, Goodell admitted the league has had a tough year.
We obviously, as an organization, have gone through adversity, but more importantly, it's been adversity for me.
Well, despite that, Goodell says he can't imagine being fired by the NFL. Correspondent Alexandra Field is at the murder trial of a former New England Patriots player.
One of the first witnesses called to testify in this case, a teenager who discovered Odin Lloyd's body. The prosecution says Aaron Hernandez orchestrated the killing and the cover-up of Odin Lloyd.
Former GOP presidential contender Mitt Romney made a major announcement today.
I'm not organizing a PAC or taking donations. I'm not hiring a campaign team.
In other words, he will not run in 2016. The White House is hailing Romney as a man of great faith and commitment. The Dow is down 19 points right now. NASDAQ has picked up a little. It's 12 points higher. I'm Evan Haining.
Data knows you love posting selfies. Others might see a reflective surface, but you see an opportunity. Like right now. You just caught a glimpse of yourself and you like what you see, and you're thinking everyone else would probably like it too. Go ahead, you've got more data and you're paying less with Boost Mobile. For only $35 a month, you can take your selfie game to the next level. Parked car window. Click. Selfie. Person wearing sunglasses. Click. Selfie. Anything shiny? Don't mind if you do. You, my friend, have no selfie control. And Data's okay with that. Come to Data.
Get more data for less with unlimited talk and text for $35 a month. Only at Boost Mobile. $35 plan includes 1 gigabyte a month of high-speed data. Video streaming limited to 3G speeds. After applicable data allotment reach, data speeds including video reduced to 2G speeds for remainder plan cycle. International services extra. Offering coverage not available everywhere and subject to change. State and local sales taxes fees may apply when adding funds to accounts. Offer network use rules and other restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or in-store materials for details.
With the Pro Bowl, the NFL experience, the Super Bowl. Well, it's beginning to look like a true championship season here in the Valley of the Sun. But if for whatever reasons you wouldn't put your financial situation in the winning column, it's time to do something about it. Resolve now to keep listening to Money Radio and then get in contact with our sponsors and show hosts and turn things around. Just like the players on the field, they are the real pros of money, and they're here every day. They'll give you the Money Radio playbook.
Find out why more Money Radio listeners are making the move to IQ Wealth. Don't miss Mastering Money, the new daily talk show on Money Radio right after Business for Breakfast from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Join best-selling author Steve Jurich and the Dr. Sinclair No as they bring you up to date on the markets, real estate, Social Security, IRAs, RMDs, taxes, estate planning, and more. That's Mastering Money, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. right here on Money Radio. For more, visit IQWealth.com.
Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent and a real estate attorney and a consumer advocate. If you have distressed property, a possible short sale or foreclosure, you need more than a real estate agent. You need a good attorney. You're not alone. Laura can help. For more information, visit talkrealestateaz.com or call 480-624-2705. That's 480-624-2705. To talk with Laura, call 480-624-2705.
It's an extremely valuable resource. It's found in offices, buildings, and schools. It's a resource that speaks volume, yet it never makes a sound. Everyone recognizes it. Everyone uses it. Interestingly enough, it's rarely discussed. Croy Sign Systems, designers and manufacturers of architectural and ADA signs since 1981. Let Croy be your resource for identification, direction, and information. Give Croy Signs a call at 480-619-6070 or online at kroysigns.com.
If you have Medicare Part D, Walgreens can put you at the corner of switching your prescriptions and saving some money. That's because Walgreens makes it easy to switch and save with copays as low as $0 on select Medicare Part D plans. Just bring us your prescriptions and we'll do the rest. Switch to save even more today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Applies to Tier 1 generics for select plans.
Hello? Oh, hi, Maurice. Sure, I'd love to go to a movie. Yes, Friday will work. What time will you pick me up? Pardon? Why can't you pick me up?
Guys, if you turn 18 and don't register with the Selective Service System, you can't get a driver's license in most states. Register today at sss.gov on your computer or smartphone. It's quick, it's easy, it's the law.
What do you mean I can take the bus?
Give your business a boost. Register to attend the 11th Annual Women Entrepreneurs Small Business Boot Camp at www.womensbusinessbootcamp.com.
Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is a must-have for all busy parents. Just one scan to the forehead. Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer takes your child's temperature quickly and accurately. Available at Walgreens.
This is Ray Hoffman with Your Money Now. To the maker of Uggs, the market says Ugg, which could be short for ugly, given how the maker of Uggs boots and Teva sandals, Deckers Outdoor, has lost 18% of its value today. But then that's the way the market punishes companies that not only post weaker than expected earnings, but also lower their outlooks for 2015 the way Deckers has, and the way Amazon did 3 months ago when it posted its biggest loss in 14 years. But not this time. Amazon is in with better than expected earnings, and the shares are up 14%. And Visa's up on better than expected earnings, and in fact having Visa trading up almost $11 a share makes the Dow look a lot less bad than it would otherwise. The Dow at last check is down 129 points, but if you could take out Visa, the Dow would be down another 90 points or so. The S&P is showing a minus 12, the NASDAQ is down 12, and that's Your Money Now.
You wouldn't leave your car unprotected, so why leave your identity unprotected? Nearly 500,000 cars were stolen in 2012. For every car stolen, 34 people had their identity stolen. Identity thieves can take your money, damage your credit, and wreak havoc on your life. Help protect yourself with LifeLock Ultimate Plus, the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. It provides protection for your social security number, bank accounts, investments, even the equity in your home. Your bank may alert you to suspicious credit or debit card activity, but a thief could still open new accounts in your name, and your credit report may only tell you after your identity's been compromised. While no one can stop all identity theft, LifeLock Ultimate Plus watches out for you in ways that banks and credit card companies alone just can't. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code Gordon or call and mention Gordon to save 10%. Call 800-916-7170. 800-916-7170. That's 800-916-7170. Network does not cover all transactions.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We're in our third segment. I'm here with the Goldsteins from Measurabilities. They are Measurabilities is a functional testing, ergonomics, fall prevention, home safety, physical therapy company. And then their Measurabilities Home Safety LLC is a contracting company specializing in fall prevention home safety modifications, which include safety grab bars, ramps, bath safety products, non-slip surface treatments for floor, tub, and shower, and installation is included. So not only do they have that home safety modification company, but they got Sandy, who is a physical therapist. They can really do the assessment up front and be able to make sure that the house is ergonomically set. So I want our listening audience to know how to reach these guys, because if you have an aging adult parent or loved one at home that you know has some challenges, ready for the word? Ambulating?
Ambulating.
Ambulating, walking, they're a little uneasy on their feet. Maybe it's a post-surgery, maybe it's a post-incident, maybe it's a post-diagnosis, or just aging. You need to call these guys. These guys can definitely help you. So the way to reach them is by phone. You can call 480-285-6212. That way you get connected to Sandy. And if you need to reach Deena, her phone number is 480-734-0133. And you can find everything you need to know about keeping your loved one safe on their website, and that's measurabilities.com. And let me spell it for you.
It's a long one.
It's measurabilities.com. Measurabilities.com. So we're back. We talked a little bit about backgrounds, and I know that you said you got started in the business in 1996, being a physical therapist.
Right.
And Deena, you got in the business. You not only are the rows of the organization, but you're a pretty bright individual. You're very, very strong you have very strong interpersonal skills. I met you a couple months ago, very impressed with the way you conduct yourself and handle yourself.
Thank you.
And I found out on the break that you used to be behind the mic.
A little bit.
Little bit,
yeah.
You had a stage name called Jamie Taylor.
Yes, I did. For a little bit, I was on a morning drive show in Columbus, Ohio, and I've done a little bit of stand-up and just dabbled a little bit in my 20s with that kind of stuff.
So when did Measurabilities all come to happen? You know, because obviously you guys are partners in life. You're a physical therapist. How did it all get created, and how did it happen?
You go ahead. Well, Sandy's been doing physical therapy for years, and he's been doing functional testing for years. We added on the fall prevention component about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
So.
Well, you know what? I know you got this 3-step process, and Sandy, I want you to walk us through that because I like the way you have done this.
Okay, so as I researched fall prevention after my father-in-law took his 3 spills, what I found was there was a tremendous amount of information that has been well-researched and well-founded about fall prevention. However, as I researched it, I found that everything really boiled down to 3 distinct processes. The first process was that, and just like colon cancer is the only preventable cancer through screening, this also holds true with fall prevention in that everything starts with a screening process, which consists of simple fall history, movement screening, and a gait, balance, and lower extremity strength screening. And so we can do a very simple screening in just a matter of minutes. And then...
And the screening, by the way, and I don't mean to interrupt you, it's free.
It's
right?
free, yeah.
You call that number I gave you before, you go to their website, they'll come out and do that screening for free.
Yeah, absolutely. And
colon screenings aren't free.
Right. That's
no.
for sure. That's for sure.
No, but go ahead.
I don't know why.
And actually, Bob, they can the listeners could access a free screen that we have, a fill-out screen on our website, and that could get them started. They could just go to our website, and there's a free interactive screen, and it's a 5 or 6 question screen that they can fill out, and it'll give them a good sense for whether they would benefit from the second step, which is the home safety assessment that we can perform for them. And when we come out, the 8 points that we look at are their balance, whether if they're using a mobility aid, we'll look at how they're using it, whether it fits properly, and whether they're using it appropriately. We also will look at their home environment. So we look at, for example, you had mentioned one earlier, whether there's any rugs that are trip hazards, but we'll also look at whether their bathrooms are safe, their kitchens are safe, their entryways, really any parts of their home, whether they have stairways, whether they're lit properly. Additionally, we check people for postural hypotension. That's if someone's blood pressure drops when they go from a seated or a supine to standing position. So we check that when we come out. We have a quick cognitive screen that we perform to try to detect whether there's cognition issues that could affect fall risk. Additionally, we will look at their medications, their feet and their footwear, and then their visual acuity. And this is all part of the home safety assessment that we perform. And then the third step is identifying through the assessment what interventions the individual will benefit from. So as Deena mentioned earlier, some people will benefit from home environmental modifications, things like grab bars or non-slip surface treatment for their floor, but other people may only need physical therapy. And so, the goal is through the assessment, we'll figure out what the issues are for that individual, and then we can address specifically those issues that will help them. And
by the way, I did mention on the first step the fall risk screen was free.
Yeah.
But all 3 of those are free.
Right.
So, for Measurabilities to come in and do the fall risk screen, the home safety package, and the fall prevention, that's all free.
Right.
So, guys, if you've got a living, loved, aging, living loved one, there you go, at home alone that you are a little worried about because you see how, they ambulate and the challenges they have, whether it be shaking or, just, swaying, please call these guys. These guys can definitely help you before it's too late. And it's funny because we were talking about at the break where you guys have been at these trade functions and, you have these free assessments and you don't ever get somebody that is kind of on the borderline. You get somebody that's showing off.
Right.
And you really, it's kind of like what we deal with in home care. We're going to be celebrating 21 years, and I can't ever remember a prospective client calling me and saying, you know what, Arthur and I have talked about it today. We need home care. So, we need our loved ones, our aging loved ones, our neighbors, our friends, family members to be looking for somebody that may have challenges before it's too late.
Right. I always say intervention is prevention. And you just have to communicate. If your family, communicate. Don't put blinders on. It's kind of a taboo subject. And, people feel like, well, if I address my potential fall risk, it makes me seem old or it's actually a step toward prolonged independence because there's a lot of bad statistics about falls.
We're going to talk about that in the next segment.
So, yeah.
A lot of bad statistics. But you know what? Falls end up causing serious health issues like hip fractures, traumatic brain injuries, broken bones, broken shoulders, and death. And the numbers are staggering. When we get back, we'll share with you what happens to these innocent people that, if they had an ounce of prevention, could have prevented a fall from happening.
Exactly.
This show is about falls. We're aiming to eliminate falls as much as we can. And part of that is through educating. And thank you guys for being on the show. We're going to spend our fourth segment talking about how do we prevent these falls. So with that, you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. And I have got the Goldsteins in the house. And we're talking about fall prevention, and their company is called Measurabilities. You're listening to Health Futures. We'll be right back.
In December of 2013, Money Radio celebrated its 25th anniversary and our 26th in December of last year. Well, now that we're warmed up, it's time to continue our daily lineup of invaluable financial advice as we talk about all aspects of money and how they affect your life. And just like the other companies out there, it's time for an upgrade. Listen to the new lineup of shows making their appearance as we kick off this year, only on Money Radio.
There are thousands of qualified captive financial professionals who work as employees for large national insurance companies and brokerages. There are also many independent financial professionals like Steve Netzel of Netzel Financial who are not bound to any given insurance company, investment strategy, or product. If your financial planner is an employee who is contractually bound to represent only specific products, imagine the hundreds of other options out there that could be a better fit for you. At Netzel Financial, they believe in helping those who are in or nearing retirement and that your financial future deserves a truly objective opinion that looks at more of the options that are available, giving you a financial plan that's custom tailored to your needs. After all, it is your money. If you'd like a second opinion when it comes to your financial future, call Steve Netzel of Netzel Financial at 480-219-0657. That's 480-219-0657. Or visit them at netzelfinancial.com. Netzel financial.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of philsgang.com. Fear. Everybody's fearful to get back in the stock market. Replace that fear with online education in options, stocks. Also supported by the greatest technology, trading platform, our PT1 chart, our PT2 chart. That's what you replace your fear with. Join the thousands of people who have already done that here at philsgang.com.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264.
Join the Phil's Gang Show every Friday for the Phil's Gang Show Business Roundtable segment. Phil Grande is the recipient of the prestigious Arthur Young Venture Magazine Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And Phil's companies have been honored on the Inc. 500 list 2 years in a row. We're the fastest growing company in America. Now, Phil will share business knowledge, insights, secrets, and experience on how to build, buy, and sell a business. That's the Phil's Gang Business Roundtable segment, only on the Phil's Gang Show. Listen live at philsgang.com.
That's philsgang.com.
Now back to Health Futures. taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. And I've got on the show today, I've got the Goldsteins. I've got Sandy and Deena Goldstein from Measurabilities. And Measurabilities has two components. They have a physical therapy practice, and they also have this home safety company. And before we took the break, we were talking about falls. And we were talking about how we usually don't get calls from people that are having challenges ambulating. We usually get the calls from their loved ones, their family members, their neighbors, advisors, whatever. And this segment, I really want to just, I'm not trying to scare our listening audience, but I want them to open their eyes and look at their loved ones for who they are. Watch how they walk. Watch how they get up. Watch them when they're standing, if they start to sway a little bit. And I know, Sandy, you can give us some signs to look for, but I want to share some statistics. And Deena, you shared some statistics with me. You know, the one I had heard for many, many years is that if you're 85 and older and you take a fall, you have a 50% chance of mortality.
Right.
You're going to die.
It's pretty scary.
And we can prevent that.
Right. It is preventable for the most part.
And part of it is recognizing it and having what you call these interventions. But right. I want you to share, if you would,
okay,
some stats.
Some of these are unbelievable. Falls are one of the leading causes of unintentional injuries in the United States. It accounts for approximately 8.9 million visits to the emergency room annually. 40% of nursing home admissions are related to people who have fallen. More than 90% of hip fractures among adults over 65 are caused by falls. The hospital readmission rate is huge for people that have fallen, and they go back and forth into rehab, out of rehab. And, you know, it's important if you've got a loved one who has been in rehab or in the hospital and you know that they're getting discharged, plan ahead and take the time to check the environment to make sure when they come out of the hospital rehab, they're going into a setting that's going to be safe for them. In some cases, you know, we've had people have us mimic the setting that they used when they were in rehab. For example, in the restroom where their grab bars were located.
Right.
They continue therapy outside the rehab facility, and they're set up to continue, you know, productively rehabbing and strengthening and functioning as they did when they were in rehab.
You know, and we said it before, people sometimes don't take action until it's too late.
Right.
Talk to me about some of the interventions that you have witnessed or you suggest for family members to really help enlighten them that your loved one is a fall risk.
Well, first of all, you have to understand, you know, what kind of health are they in? You know, have they been in the hospital? Are they in a weakened state? Are they in multiple medications? Are they dealing with issues that Sandy talked about, visual problems? Do they have postural hypotension? Any kind of issues that cause them to have problems with their gait, their stability. You have concerns. They're you know, they need home care, you know, where you can provide home care. And then taking the next step to have somebody talk to them. We can come out, Sandy can talk to them. They can ask questions. A lot of times if you don't know, you have to ask the question. And it's good to involve them in the process. Sometimes people don't want to be involved in the process. They're like, nah, I'm not interested. But you know, it doesn't have to be scary. It can be a simple conversation about kind of, you know, re-looking at how your environment's set up. Very simple solutions.
You know, it's asking questions. Yes, it definitely is. It's about observing a loved one and their setting.
Right.
But, you know, it's about, you know, for us, it's about surrounding our loved ones with a way, you know, with the resources so that they can age successfully in place.
It is. It's really an act of caring. It's an act of love because you're getting in there and saying, look, I'm concerned about you. Let's do this together. You don't have to do it alone. I'll help you. In some cases, the family members like to be there when we come out, which is wonderful. We will speak to anyone. You're helping. It's an intervention, and then it's a prevention.
And you know, a lot of it, I have to believe, and you guys see this firsthand, a lot of it has to do, I'm sure, with modesty. Nobody wants to be using a walker.
Right.
Sure. You know, and you know, they don't think of themselves as old. You know, I went to visit a 101-year-old man last week, and I got to tell you, this guy got around really well, but he relied on his walker. I kind of referred to it as his sleigh. And
right.
I mean, but he knew how to use it. He had been trained how to use it. He can't go anywhere without it.
It's a sensitive conversation.
It is.
When you're introducing an adaptive aid to somebody, it really is. It's a realization that, hey, this is going to help me, and this is going to help me be around for a lot longer, and you have to break down barriers.
And ego. And some of it's like, well, gosh, I don't want to look like this. I don't want to have this with me. But you know what? You end up feeling better because your quality of life is enhanced. You can go and do things, go out to dinner with a family without, being fearful that you're going to fall, or have grandkids come over and go play in the backyard. So
you have to look at those trade-offs. And it's easy for us to say. It's kind of like, when you have to take someone's keys away and, they lose that independence. This is another step of losing that independence, but it's also a matter of keeping them safe. Sandy, you said earlier, you talked about feet. Right. I don't think I ever realized how important feet are. And you know what? When you have somebody that's lived 80, 90, 100 years, their feet has taken on a lot of toll. I mean, they've logged a lot of miles. They've logged a lot of steps. And, whether they pronate or they have, bunions or whatever, I mean, feet are imperative, good feet, in terms of standing up.
Absolutely. And a lot of people have
orthotics.
A lot of people have peripheral neuropathy, and they're they don't even have full feeling in their feet, and so they really can't even feel the floor beneath their feet, literally. And so those people are really at risk. And there's things that we can, again, you want to modify whatever you can modify and minimize their risk of falling. So
absolutely.
But it starts at the identification.
I want to give to our listening audience real quick how to get a hold of you. Measurabilities.com. It's measurabilities.com. TIES. Thank you. Yep. Measurabilities.com. Is this a good phone number, the 214-480-214-9725?
Sure, that's our office. Yep.
That's the office.
That's the office. And if you want to reach Sandy directly, you want to call him at 480-285-6212. As we said earlier, they provide free home safety assessments. Really important. We need to prevent falls, guys. Our listening audience, please heed this advice. If you have a loved one that is a little unstable, call these guys or call someone that can give you the help. You can always call us at cypresshomecare.com or at 602-264-8009. So the football game. You say the Seahawks.
I'm going for the Pats, and also I'm really looking forward to the Doritos. That's for me.
The Doritos.
Yeah, it's all about the snack.
I like the commercials.
Yeah, I love the commercials.
Yeah, I saw one with Katie Couric and Brian Gumbel. They're doing a BMW commercial. That's really, really good.
Interesting.
That's going to be really cool. And Inflategate, I don't think we'll have a resolution on that, but I can guarantee you the balls will be inflated.
Yes.
Listen, we got to run. Loved having you guys on.
Thanks, we appreciate it.
Fun.
You've been listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. Make it a great day. Have a great weekend.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit cypresshomecare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Over the last 30 years, the stock market has gone up an average of 11.1% per year, while the average retail trader has only seen their portfolios increase 3.7% a year. The average person is leaving 2/3 of the money on the table, and the professionals are crushing the market. Learn how to get on the professional side of the trade, the right side of the trade, no matter what the market's doing. Check out Online Trading Academy's The Right Side of the Trade, Tuesdays at 8 a.m. on Money Radio 1510.
KFNN Mesa Phoenix, K257CD Phoenix. New Year brings some program changes. Check moneyradio1510.com to see latest schedule. Dow is down 123 points. NASDAQ down 16. S&P is down 12.
Just ahead, Money Radio brings you the latest news. business news, Arizona business news, the weather and traffic. And it all starts right